What's going on, New York Giant fans? Nick Filato with Big Blue View here to go over Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. Look, we all know the New York Giants need help at the wide receiver position, and they are sitting at pick 25 in this draft, and Zay Flowers could realistically be an option for them. So let's get right into his tape. The two-time first-team All-ACC selection eclipsed 1,000 yards this season for the first time in his college career, but he finished his college career with 200 catches on 345 targets for 3,056 yards with 29 touchdowns. Flowers excels as a route runner who creates separation in a variety of different ways, and we're going to go over that all throughout this video. Flowers did accept an invite to the East-West Shrine game and did not go to the 2023 Reese's Senior Bowl, even though he might have been the most talented receiver to attend the event in Mobile. One of the biggest drawbacks to Zay Flowers' profile is his overall size. He's only 5'9", 182 pounds, and he only has 29 1/4 inch arms, which is the same exact as Greg Dortch, which ranks in the second percentile in the NFL right now. Now, it's not as bad as Wan'Dale Robinson, who measured in at 27 5/8 inch arm length, which was 0th percentile. But still, he doesn't have a huge catch radius. He's not going to be somebody who is going to consistently make contested catches, and he has below average hands with 9 1/8 inch hands. So the overall size is one aspect of his profile that is not going to be in Zay Flowers' favor. And we'll briefly go through some of these plays. We'll see Zay Flowers at the top of the screen as the number one. See how there's a little bit of a switch release. And one of the things I love about his game is the concentration that he does possess. And you can see his sideline awareness here on this corner route with this player holding the cornerback in the flat. And they're finding this nice little honey hole right here, that hole shot, whatever you guys want to call it. And you can see how he climbs the ladder, makes the catch, eyes right downward. 1 foot in bounds, 2nd foot in bounds, doesn't need to get 2, and he's able to beat that safety and make that catch. Now he's extending away from his frame, and I appreciate about it because the frame isn't all that big, as we said. But that's not the most impressive play, and that play isn't necessarily indicative of his entire skill set. We'll see some of the ways he sets up his routes throughout this entire video. Here is a play against Clemson where he really extemporizes his route and comes open, and I really appreciate this kind of savvy ability to understand what your quarterback wants when you have that type of rapport with your quarterback. So you can see him at the top of the screen here. He runs outside of 22, who's attempting to jam him, and then he squares right up on this defensive back, settles. You can see the body control in the turn. He's open. He presents a target. He runs back to his quarterback. The quarterback is not in a position to fire the football to him at this point. So what does he do? He presents his hands, and then he feels that his quarterback is rushing out of the pocket. So he adjusts, runs to the open space, runs to the sideline as this defender decides to really set up on the inside of him, providing this outside break to Zay Flowers, and he obliges. And you can see Zay Flowers makes that catch away from his frame again. It's a little bit difficult to see, but he's not body catching. And Zay Flowers does not have the best hands. He had 24 drops throughout his college career, which is kind of a lot, and 9 in 2022. But you can see he is confident to extend his hands and use all 9 1/8 inch of his hands to corral that football and then get his feet in bounds. And now we'll see Zay Flowers at the bottom of the screen, aligned at the bottom of the numbers. And I like this route. It sets up an easy break to the outside and establishes outside leverage against this defender who is going to be influencing him outside. You can see how he's aligned at the top of the numbers, but watch the initial stem of Zay Flowers. It's going to be inward leaning, and he's going to wind up at the top of those numbers. Like he's selling, he's going inside. And you can see kind of a step there while this tight end or whoever this player is releases it that way. He takes one hard step right off the line of scrimmage inside to get himself to the top of the numbers. And then he's going to bend like he's just going in this direction. And that's going to get this defender to open his hips to the inside like he's going to carry this vertical route. But right as that defensive back does that, Zay Flowers plants that foot and just comes right outside. And look how much separation he creates against this defensive back. But unfortunately, the quarterback ends up getting sacked. But you can just see by that slight lean to the inside and how he influences this defender to believe that the vertical stem is going to be completely vertical and there's not going to be a break outside. And then you can see how prompt and the timing Flowers uses once that cornerback commits and flips his hips to go outside and just have all of that separation for an easy pass by the quarterback. Unfortunately, it does not happen. And now we're going to see a bunch. Number 3 receiver is Zay Flowers on the inside. And watch how he is able to go inside and then break right to the outside. No one anywhere around him. Now the cornerback, and this is an incomplete pass, but the cornerback is a bit undisciplined here. But you can see how he fakes like he's going to run a drag or some sort of slant or some sort of deep over route. So is this guy going to pass Zay Flowers off to any of these other defenders, and he really sells it well before breaking right out. And one of the things I love the most about Zay Flowers is the amount of control that he has in and out of his breaks and how explosive he is coming out of his breaks. And this doesn't end up being a catch. You can see how Flowers adjusts himself. He was expecting the football to be thrown to the outside shoulder here, catch it, run it in stride. Instead, the quarterback kind of puts it out over here, so he has to flip his head around, locate the football. It's still just out of his reach. He's looking inside. You can see how that head kind of whips to the inside. He's looking inside, and then this defender starts to commit this way. You can see how he's really starting, Zay Flowers that is, to bend it and just explode, and watch how quick he is out of that break. Head upfield. Good luck, cornerback, to get back in a phase. Look how far out of phase that cornerback is in that situation. Unfortunate the throw was not on target. Zay Flowers running double moves is also something that is quite interesting and entertaining to watch. This is going to be an out and up type of move, and you can see how he's going to be able to get behind this defender, gets him to flatten that angle out, and then look, just right on top of him, tracks the football right into his hands. But you can see how Zay Flowers, he whips his head back right there, and he is running along this line, and then that's going to get this corner to just flatten out instead of, like he was doing before, cutting off this angle, because he thinks the ball is going to be out at this point. But you can see just how quick Flowers comes right out of that second break. And you can see he has to grab a little bit, and then look at that separation. Right up the sideline. Very nice football right there. Zay Flowers gets his feet in bounds. And we're going to see another double move here with Zay Flowers aligned inside the numbers from the far hash. A lot of field to cover, so the cornerback is going to be playing inside because he doesn't think this quarterback is going to be throwing outside the numbers, playing with that inside leverage as we'll see here. And then watch this double move at the top of the screen. Sink his hips. This cornerback is playing with ass to the sideline zone technique, sees the sinking of the hips out of his periffs, and then he reacts, and then Flowers just blows right past him. Against Virginia Tech, and a better throw, this could have been a touchdown. Flowers makes a catch regardless. But I love that little just subtle double move fake. All you gotta do is sink your hips, and he does a good job of sinking his hips and selling it. You can see right here, sink the hips. It's gonna get this cornerback who is weary of what Zay Flowers is doing because of the leverage that he is executing because of where the ball is on that far hash. And that just totally gets that cornerback all turned up right there. He has to flip himself around. Flowers just blows right past him. Good acceleration, good control, makes a catch along the sideline, picks up some extra yards. Now we're going to have another double move right here. Again, far hash. This cornerback isn't playing as far inside as the Virginia Tech cornerback was. But you can see the double move and how that cornerback bites on it. That's all it takes, that little hesitation. And this ends up going out of bounds. He doesn't make the catch. Kind of hard to see. The camera doesn't get all of it. But watch the suddenness of this. He's selling the vertical stem. All he does is sink that hips, drags that foot, kicks up a bunch of black beads everywhere, and then he just explodes right back out. Doesn't really lose a lot of momentum other than the fake, right? And this corner's in the back pedal, now he's going to, I got to click and close, never mind. Blow right past him. Better throw, that's a touchdown. Here we have Flowers aligned in a reduced split, and this is one of my favorite plays because he comes down with a contested catch here in double coverage. Just a really beautiful cop type of route. That's a corner post. It ends up going for 6, as you can see, over 2 defenders. But I absolutely just love this route, and I love just the sudden nature of this electric playmaker. And this is another play where he's making it at the 3rd level, a true deep threat. We have him aligned here. Watch how he explodes off the line of scrimmage. What is he doing? He is leaning to the inside, running directly at this defender. This defender, he may know, Zay Flowers that is, that this defender is going to have outside leverage. So you're going to have to manipulate both of these players with your route running. So he explodes directly at 5, gets him to open his hips, and then right as 5 starts to open his hips, he angles back vertically, right? He's not going on a deep over route. You can see how he does that right here. Inward lean, I'm going to go vertical now. And what is that going to do? That's going to expand this defender back outward a little bit. And then he's going to angle back out. Like this is going to be a corner route where he can break it off like this. It's going to cause panic in this defender, as you can see right here in this quarter turn, just kind of backpedaling as this defender is going to assume the middle. So Zay Flowers right now is getting this defender to expand outward to set up this final move where he's going to break back over the middle of the field. And that safety does a really good job putting himself into position, but Zay Flowers comes down with this contested catch, which is one of the things that I feel like is not completely evident throughout his film is his ability to make contested catches, but he did very well on this specific play. But again, that route is a beautiful route to set up that outside defender, and then he wins at the catch point against the safety with the safety in excellent coverage. We'll watch it one more time. Inward, 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 vertical, vertical, outward, outward, create separation, explode. Look at the separation he has now on that outside defender. So now all he has to do is beat the safety, who positions himself very well. Doesn't matter. Zay Flowers comes down with the football. Touchdown number 4, Boston College. Here we have Flowers as the number 2 receiver. Look, this guy has all the athletic traits that you want, and he has this spatial awareness and prowess to do things like this. And I hate that the camera doesn't pick him up at that point. The all-22 guy isn't that excellent, but here's another long touchdown that we're seeing from Zay Flowers because he sets this defender up so well. He's aligned directly on the hash. Let's watch his path. He explodes. He's going to work around the apex defender. So he's going to take a wide path towards this defender who's going to be in man coverage on him. So all Zay Flowers has to do is influence him to the outside, break back over the middle of the field, and guess what? This guy has deep responsibility, so nobody else is going to be over the middle of the field. You can see that pre-snap at this point if this player drops down into the box. Once 81 comes over this way in motion, Boston College uses a lot of motion. That's going to put a third receiver on the side, fourth if you're including the running back, and this guy is going to rotate downward, not take a deep responsibility, meaning this player right here is responsible for Zay Flowers with no inside help. So Zay Flowers, if he can influence him to the outside like he does right here with that little break, breaks outside, you can see the head whip, you can see the lean, he's leaning, break back over the middle of the field. Nobody's even close. That player's not close now. You can see he has an angle. Doesn't even matter because Zay Flowers has the speed, the suddenness, the acceleration, the explosiveness, the burst. Name the adjective from an athletic trait standpoint. He possesses it to score a touchdown on plays like this. Now, he doesn't have Jalen Hyatt's type of speed. He's not that type of player, but he has NFL caliber wide receiver speed, good NFL caliber wide receiver speed. And when you add the technician portion of his ability to run routes and manipulate defenders in a prompt and timely manner, then you have a dangerous weapon. And that's what Zay Flowers is, and you can see it in a lot of these plays. Just this subtle little double move to get this player to go outside. You can see his hips are fully outside, and now at this point you see the defender's like, oh, I gotta close because Zay Flowers, he could take it up the sideline, and guess what? He has the speed that I have to worry about. So there's no way that this defender right now, this safety, his hips can just quickly flip in this direction if this is a double move. And Flowers sold it so well that that defender got into a really, really bad position to where he is chasing number 4 like this. Easy touchdown, Boston College, because of that excellent route running. Now we're going to have a play against Wake Forest. Bottom of your screen, we see Zay Flowers. You can see it's play action element, influence to the outside, break back to the inside. Deep pass, makes the catch, makes one man miss. Something else Zay Flowers does a pretty good job of is when he has the football in his hands. He can make some players miss. He's shifty. I wouldn't say he's the shiftiest, but he's shifty enough to make players miss. At plays like this, he's well off the line of scrimmage. Watch. Break to the outside, get 12, who again, is a far hash play. And this player is aligned kind of over the top of him, but he's executing a zone technique, meaning he's not manned up. He's not directly over the top. You can see how his eyes are maintained on the quarterback, and he is in this quarter turn. He's backpedaling with his ass to the sideline. So Zay Flowers or any wide receiver, you can work into that blind spot, it's going to cause panic in that defender. And you can see that's exactly what he does. Works into the blind spot. So 12's like, oh no, if he goes in this way, it goes up, I'm in such a bad position. So he just works into the blind spot, forces that speed turn, and once the cornerback does a speed turn, break back over the middle of the field, this defender is occupied by him, and now you're just going to be wide open over the middle of the field. And that's just good route running right there to take advantage of the defender, and then he's able to house it and make a couple players miss in the process. And now we're going to see another play where Zay Flowers shows his ability to just make players miss in space. Just a simple drag route, extend away from the frame, catch the football, love to see it. And now he's going to house this. Even though it's not that far of a distance, there is a lot of traffic for Zay Flowers to work through. And you can see the shiftiness and the elusiveness to make these players miss in space. Right here, if you were to tell me that number 4, 5'9", 183-pound number 4 was going to score a touchdown with these 3 defenders bearing down on him, I would not believe it. But look how low he is. Look at the angular build he has. He has a ton of flexibility in all of these joints. Ankle, knee, hips, and is able to make this defender miss and then spin back to the inside. These two defenders collide, and then this defender is not able to make the tackle, and then 42 is able to get the hit. No one even considered him in the count 5 seconds ago, but it doesn't matter because Zay Flowers falls into the end zone for a touchdown. And now we're going to see some pivot routes that I love from Zay Flowers. Look, everyone loves a good pivot route. We're seeing Hunter Renfrow. We're seeing Stephon Diggs. We're seeing Chris Olave. We're seeing a lot of really talented wide receivers. Isaiah Hodgins running routes like this in the red zone, right? And you can see how he pivots right off that. Wan'Dale Robinson ran it a couple times this year, and that's an easy touchdown. But look how smooth this is, right? A lot of wide receivers are running it these days, and Zay Flowers is tailor-made for these types of routes, right? Like, we're seeing him win at all 3 levels of the field. Here's how he wins in the short to intermediate levels of the field. Now, this is a short one, but you have 2 tight ends release. These defenders are going to have to worry about those tight ends. And then you just have Zay Flowers run like he's going inside. It's going to cause panic. Get that defender to bite down through the traffic, just go right back outside. Easy pitch and catch touchdown. And that was probably my favorite pivot route that he ran, but it's not the only one. Here's one against Notre Dame. Makes the catch with his hands away from his frame. And I like this one too, because just know the rules of the defense. You have this H-back who's going to act like he's releasing vertical, and if he were to release vertical and Zay Flowers were to release on a drag route, which is exactly what it looks like at the initial portions of this play, then this defender is going to have the responsibility to cover the number 2 vertical. And you can see how he reacts like that. His eyes are on the number 2 vertical because the initial stem of Zay Flowers is inward. But again, it's all fake. Just break outside. So that switch of responsibilities right there is just excellent from an offensive coordinator and a play calling standpoint. Because you could see apex defender kind of flash his eyes this way, thinks Zay Flowers might be going over the middle of the field after seeing what was going on in the play action element of this play. Cornerback thought he had to carry the 2 vertical with 26 going in the middle of the field, and Zay Flowers just comes wide open on the backside of a play-action boot as the quarterback gets absolutely nailed. And here's another one out of a bunch. Just fake like you're going inside, get the defender to commit, break back out. Separation, explode out of your break, good route running, good play calling. And here are some plays where I appreciate the savvy nature of the route running. So you're going to see the play. It's hiked. Zay Flowers is right here. Watch how he acts as if he's going to flatten this route out initially to get number 4 on the defense to commit, but instead he's just going to go right around him to force number 4, who is a linebacker, to turn, which is not a natural movement for him. Like, he's going to lose. That 4 is going to lose to the Zay Flowers 4 any day of the week when you do this. You can see how he just fakes that out and then works around. Gets him to commit up, then he makes the catch and falls forward a little bit. But that's just a little bit of savvy nature, right? Get him to think this is going to be a drag route where he's going to pivot and then break down this way. And then instead, once he starts to shuffle, you break right back around him and force that speed turn. And then, I don't know if it was deliberate or on purpose, but Zay Flowers kind of uses the ref as a pick. And this is something that I saw throughout his film on deep over type of routes. And here we're going to see it again from the number 2. He's going to get 25. This isn't some stiff linebacker, right? This is a much better athlete, but he is going to shift this way to match the 3-by-1 set that is going on from Boston College. So he shifts, and once he commits downward, you see how Zay Flowers is going to boop, and then just work right around him. Boop, and right around him again. And now he's open between those 2 split safeties. That's just smart, savvy route running by a wide receiver. You can see, very precocious. Not a lot of rookie wide receivers or prospects coming into the league understand these little nuances like this. And it's one of the things I love most about Zay Flowers is his ability to uncover not just via man coverage because of his natural athletic gifts, but also from a technique standpoint, and he knows how to manipulate zone coverage because he's a smart route runner. Unlike a lot of other receivers in this draft, Zay Flowers aligned the majority of his snaps out wide. So he is used to aligning outside the numbers, near the numbers, being the number 1 wide receiver. I believe at the next level, he is more just a movable piece. He aligned at running back at Boston College. If you want to do that, you probably can in certain instances and just use him as kind of like a movable chess piece on your offense. But right here, he is aligned outside the numbers, as we see, or I should say at the bottom of the numbers against press. He didn't see too much press coverage at the collegiate level, but I think he has the ability, because of his quick feet because of his processing, to develop a release package. It's not something that I can say he definitely has right now just because he didn't face too much press coverage. He'll face more press coverage at the next level, but you can see here against UConn how he's able to influence that defender inside, and that is not great technique by that defender, so I have to preface that to just create ample separation against him. Now this one, he is able to just go inside, and then watch how low he gets to explode back outside. And this guy goes to jam, and it's a little bit too late to jam at that point, and he just gets left in the dust, man. And that's just an easy catch. And that's one rep that I got against press, and I have another one against Syracuse right here at the bottom of the screen, press alignment. You can see how he just wins outside, but again, the defender isn't getting any hands on. So it's a press alignment, but the jam technique is not there. And Flowers ends up making this catch again off this camera, which is a little bit unfortunate. These damn college interns. I wish this guy jammed to see how Zay Flowers worked his hands, how he was able to disengage from that jam. Was he able to quickly disengage and then stack on top and develop kind of vertical leverage? That still remains to be seen because we didn't really see it all that often in college. But regardless of the fact he's outside the numbers, he's still able to win outside, maintain the red line, and then provide his quarterback enough space to fit that football in, and he still makes the catch, drags his feet, and secure the football through the ground. Now here we're just going to see a double move again, but Flowers doesn't come down with this one. And he's the number 2 receiver here. He sets up the safety well. Similar to what we were seeing before, inward leaning, inward leaning, inward leaning. Break to the outside, get the safety to commit, get the leverage. Now he doesn't come down with this football, and we'll see. He realistically could have. I like this play, this design, play action, roll out, throw back off the double move. And this is a contested catch, and this kind of goes to one of my gripes about Zay Flowers is he doesn't come down with these enough. And we saw one of those ridiculous ones a little bit earlier on in the video. But look, this is a catchable play. Guy is in good coverage, but Flowers just does not come down with it. He doesn't have the biggest hands, doesn't have the biggest catch radius. And if we go through his tape, he has a couple plays like this where he drops some frustrating passes. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be frustrating because like this one is a very tough catch to make. Look, he's in double coverage. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fault Zay Flowers, but at the same time, this football hits him in the hands and he doesn't come down with it. There are just other players who would have made this catch before because this isn't a terrible pass by the quarterback from the far hash to loft it over the top of that initial defender, and that second defender who is attached to Flowers' hip does a good job harassing Flowers at the catch point, but he still doesn't come down with it. And here is just another one that I wanted to kind of bring up here. Now, he wasn't going to catch it anyways because he's led too far out of bounds, but the way he goes into the catch point is just a little awkward. It's a little Evan Ingram-esque. And it's not something that is consistent with his film, but I figured since he does have some drop issues throughout his tape, throughout his entire time at Boston College, it was worth highlighting, kind of how he's trying to gator chomp that into his chest instead of kind of going up and grabbing it. Maybe he was just looking at the sideline, realizing he was drifting out of bounds. I'm not 100% certain, but that is one aspect of his profile that I wish was a little bit more refined, a little bit more developed, was his ability to win one-on-one contested situations at a higher clip. For a receiver who is likely going to be drafted in the first round, you would want that to be a part of his profile. But thank you everyone for tuning in to this YouTube channel, this little breakdown of Zay Flowers and his really impressive profile, a legit shot to be the 25th pick in the draft to the New York Football Giants. Let us know what you think about Zay Flowers and the prospects of him being added to the New York Giants in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and also head on over to bigblueview.com and check out all of our written content about the New York Giants and all of our written content about the upcoming 2023 NFL Draft. We're really looking forward to it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I am Nick Filato. I'm signing off now. Take care of each other, and have a lovely day, everyone.